Okay, so I'm going to show you how to add and subtract mixed numbers. So let's say, for example, you have a problem that's 3 and 2/4 plus 1 and 2/6. Okay, so the process is still the same as if you're just adding fractions. These just have whole numbers in them. Alright, so first step is you first want to rewrite this vertically. So we have 3 and 2/4 plus our 1 and 2/6. Okay, so like before, the biggest red flag should pop up. My denominators are not the same, so therefore I need to find something that they have in common. And the way to do that is you have to find the least common multiple, or we call it the least common denominator. So you got to list out your multiples. So we're going to do our 4s and our 6s. So first thing, we can go with our 6s. We go 6, 12. 6 times 1 is 6. 6 times 2 is 12. 6 times 3 is 18. We can do one more. 6 times 4 is 24, and we can stop there. Now we do our 4s. 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 3 is 12. 4 times 4 is 16. 4 times 5 is 20. Let me stop there and see if we have any matches. Alright, so 6. Is there a 6 up here? No, there is not, so we're going to mark it out. 12. Is there a 12 up here? Yes, there is. So this 12 now is our least common denominator. Let me go and rewrite this plus sign so we don't forget that we're adding. And so now we're going to set up our equivalent fractions with our common denominator, or our LCD, least common denominator, of 12. Alright, so to set up our equivalent fractions, again, you're either always multiplying or dividing, but when you're setting up equivalent fractions for adding and subtracting fractions, you're usually multiplying. So we're asking ourselves, 6 times what gives me 12? Again, if you do not know your multiplication facts, if you listed them out over here, you can easily count. 1, 2. That's 6 times 2. And whatever you do in your denominator, you must do in your numerator, times 2. 2 times 2 is 4. Now we do over here to this next fraction. We have 4 times what gives me 12? Again, if you don't know your facts, you can come over here, look at your list, and just count. 1, 2, 3. I listed it out 3 times because 4 times 3 is 12. Therefore, in my numerator, I have to do the same thing, times 3. So 2 times 3 is 6. It's kind of good to box your whole numbers and box your equivalent fractions so you can kind of keep in mind what you're doing here. And again, we are adding. So you can bring down your denominators. Now that they are the same, the denominators stay the same, 12. And then you do add your numerator. 6 plus 4 equals 10. And in your whole numbers over here, 3 plus 1, bring it over here, is 4. 4 and 10 12ths. And if you need to look at it like you did back in 4th grade, if you rewrote it vertically, not vertically, horizontally, it would be 3 and 6 12ths plus 1 and 4 12ths. 6 plus 4 is 10. 12 stays the same. 3 plus 1 is 4. 4 and 10 12ths. Now, this could be your final answer, but we are here in 5th grade. You should be already being able to identify simplifying. Now, the easiest way, one of the first things you should check is, are my fractions, are my numbers even? If they are both even, that should be automatic. Hey, I could divide that by 2. So, because you know that would be a common factor that they both have is 2. Because 2, any even number can divide by 2. If you know your divisibility rules, then you'll know that. Alright, so 10 divided by 2 equals 5. And 12 divided by 2 equals 6. Don't forget to bring your whole number over. And so now your final answer is 4 and 5/6. A good way to know about simplifying is if you have a consecutive fraction, like with consecutive numbers like 5/6, or if it was like 7/8 or 10/11, or like the most common 1/2. Any fraction that have consecutive numbers like this is automatically, you should know, is simplified fraction. So our final answer here is 4 and 5/6. And that's how you add. And the process will be the same if you're subtracting. So that's how you add and subtract fractions with, not fractions, but mixed numbers.